James Wang. Tonight at AHK Night Talk, it's a very special guest we are having with you because we are talking a lot about how China works, how Chinese companies work, how Germany work, and there are not so many in the Sino-German community who experienced both the German side in Germany, but also working with German companies in China, but also working in China with Chinese companies. And therefore, I'm very happy that you took the time and join us tonight. So let's talk about the difference you're explaining. I mean, you learned with German companies and then went into a Chinese automotive company. What was the first thing you experienced and you thought that's really different here from a cultural perspective? What did they do differently?
Yeah, definitely. There are many different actually on styles, on the management, on the leadership. But the most actually the significant difference in the area of decision-making process, on the planning and the reporting system, and on the risk management, as well as on the actually the attitude based on the result-oriented or based on the process-oriented. Yes.
How would you explain how a typical German company is structured, and in comparison, how is a Chinese company structured?
Actually, a German company is structured based on process, based on the well-structured procedure. And you can recognize there are so many German companies, they exist already 50, 100, even 150 years. All this was supported by procedure, by structures, and also reflected in the decision-making process. German companies make the decision mainly based on the factor, data, analysis, risk analysis, as well as actual return on investment calculation, etc. It definitely takes a longer time. Sometimes you even could lose the one-time opportunity, but this also helps them to avoid the high-risky actual adventure. Therefore, that's the reason that they could consistently grow up year by year. At the same time, the Chinese company, also due to the rapid change in the last 40 years, they must catch the time. Therefore, decision-making of the Chinese company is frequently based on the personal judgment, on the personal experience. Mostly the top managers or the owner, they have to say. And then the decision could be made very quickly. This helps them to catch the opportunity quickly before the other recognize the opportunity. But also such kind of quick decision, unfortunately, result of some wrong investment or result some failures. The second difference is about the risk management. Before the decision will be made by a German company, they spend sufficient time and input resources to identify possible risk and even prepare or work out the prevention of the measures in case of risk would happen. In this way, they prepare themselves well for the future unexpected development, and therefore they can actually have the quick response to the unexpected scenarios. And this is also supported by very precise and very detailed planning. Planning for the German companies is not just putting together numbers together. It's actually is a target setting. They set a target supported by detailed numbers spread into products group, regions, and the customer group, or industry, or even profit, even the average prices. This planning serves as a guidance, as an orientation. Therefore, every month, every quarter, they compare the actual figures always with the target. If they see the deviation, and they always try to find out the deviation earlier, and then they can take the counter the measures, or they can take the correction actions, so that the road will be kept on a straight lines. In this way, they ensure the efficiency with longer the preparation time, but they ensure the straight and then continuously development as the forwarding. But the Chinese company also mainly based on the Chinese rapid development environment, they always like to take some risk because the economic policy could be changed tomorrow, and the competitor could also get the same idea as they. Therefore, they always have to make a decision quickly. Therefore, they are ready to take even higher risk because without taking risk, you would never get the return. Yeah. Therefore, furthermore, actually, more owners or the number one of the company, they have very rich experience. They are well respected. Therefore, all the people believe that decision must be corrected. So the decision could be made based on still not insufficient the risk management.
And especially considering that the topic of digitalization might be an industrial revolution. Yeah. So the development in these areas are way faster than in mechanical developments. Yeah. So what does that mean for the competitiveness of German companies in the future when it comes to innovation? Compared with Chinese companies?
German companies are mostly engineering driven. That means a team, as a company, get the target settled. They want to develop new products to serve the market, to serve the customer. Therefore, they put all resources together and find out how long they need, how much cost would it be at the end of the product, and then when. What kind of the feature of the product would it be equipped with these new products? At the end, they could find out it's too late because the competitors already brought in products to the market somehow earlier. But the advantage of such kind of solid the process is if a new product is brought to the market by the German company, it must be very reliable. They could get the well accepted the response from the customer. They can actually maintain the customer relationship for long term. But the Chinese companies, and they always we have to bring the product to the market so early as possible, and then everything should be finished within very limited, very critical times. Definitely. The advantage from such kind of model, the business model, is you could be one of the market leader at the beginning, because you bring the market as a product to the market as one, number two. But the quality of the products is not so reliable, and then you could win the first batch of the customer, but to maintain the confidence of customers, to maintain relationship with customers with reliable quality would be difficult for them. So therefore, you always have to have the well-balanced consideration. Time, at the same time, reliable quality.
If German companies can manage that, bring the have no discussions about the high quality, but gaining speed and becoming more customer-oriented. What does that mean for German companies if they can manage on the global markets? That would be a huge competitive advantage if they can bring that to the global markets then.
Yeah, definitely. So many international companies experience in China three phases. First one, global for China. Everything is delivered, provided by headquarters overseas. Global for China. And the second phase is China for China. Products are developed in China and produced in China, purchased in China, and R&D partially also in China for Chinese market. But some actually international companies already entered the third phase, China for global. Actually, there are so many engineers, so many cost-effective resources, and also the sense of the Chinese people about the timing. And this helps the international company to take full use of such kind of advantage here in China and to work out the new products, such as the R&D task, and then deliver even the products to the global market. So it should be actually also the Rittal's approach in the next years. After we completed the China for China, we are going to the phase of China for global, yes.
I mean, we discussed many times about the strategy also of how you evaluate the market. but and you have a strong vision. But I think it's also important to have the right people in your company. Though we believe that the fluctuation in China of staff is a little bit higher than in Germany, where you start learning in a German company and you retire in the same company. What is the difference there, and what are the challenges?
The fluctuation of the employee at a certain level is actually normal and should be acceptable. Is good for for example, to introducing new fresh ideas, to introduce new business model, to even create pressure on the low performance of the company. But it should not be too high, because by frequently changing the personnel, and you would lose a continuity of the know-how, of the actual reliability, or the connection with the customers. So therefore, we always try to find out a reasonable fluctuation rate. The German companies, they actually show high respect on the people. They offer such kind of business, the working model based on the so-called work-life balance. They don't ask too much overtime, unpaid overtime from employee. They also invest in the working environment, work table, computer, cell phone, etc., to let the people working comfortable in the working as facilities. And also they provide trainings, in-house training, outside training, even get them back to the headquarters for get training to increase the experience, to get them comfortable, and then in this way they can retain many employees working for them beside the package. But the Chinese company try to actually retain the people master based on the trust buildings, personal relationship, to get them actually feeling well at the company by the supervisor. Furthermore, they also offer to some specific levels or specific positions very attractive incentive, so that also they recognized the fluctuation rate is good for the company, but unfortunately, the work-life balance model is not actually well implemented at many Chinese companies. That's the problem for the Chinese company. Therefore, it's also a disadvantage of the international company here in China.
But that means also that measuring performance and setting the right targets is a little bit more important in China maybe than in Germany. How would you describe that?
Yes, everyone is expected to deliver the performance, and then the good performance should be awarded. Therefore, German companies frequently apply the so-called KPI-based evaluation, performance evaluation system, mostly based on the key figures, factors, or the measurable result. In this way, they want to have the more fair and objective, actually, the mechanism for both supervisor and employee, to reduce too much subjective impressions. Yes, fair, transparent, and then also the high acceptance of the result. Even sometimes the result for one guy is not so optimal, but he said, yeah, I really didn't deliver the performance as expected. But at the Chinese company, they most prefer to measure the loyalty of the people and the willingness of the people following the instructions, especially from top, or for request by customers, in terms of the overtime, in terms of job allocation, in terms of the actually jumping from this task force to the others, and also the so-called reliabilities. The guy is someone I trust, and then I give them good awarding. So the Chinese supervisor have more extra space, room for actually the scolding his employee, or for evaluation his employee. So therefore, many Chinese employees always try to build some personal relationship with the supervisors.
Okay. James, that was very interesting. As I said, there are not many people around us who experience both sides so well and also think so much about it and reflect about it. Great. Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. Yeah.